circuits are cascaded together using the same clock, phi, then a problem in evaluation involves a built-in race condition. Built-in race condition. The race condition will be taking place here. We'll discuss about what is meant by race condition while talking about a logic called NORA, that is no race condition, no race circuit. We'll discuss there what is meant by race condition. Here, race condition is regarding the occurrence of the signals depending upon the clock. We'll talk in detail about what is meant by race condition in the coming slides. Race condition will exist. Consider the two-stage dynamic logic circuit below. Here, there's a two-stage dynamic logic circuit. This is a first-stage dynamic logic circuit, and this is a second-stage dynamic logic circuit. So see here now, this is the logic which is connected with two NMOS in series. If NMOS are connected in series, this logic is nothing else but it is A dot B. It's an AND operator. Whenever the NMOS are in series, then we call it as an AND operator. So it's an AND operator logic which is connected as a second stage NMOS logic. So now let us see now. Consider the two-stage dynamic logic circuit below. During the pre-charge state, both the outputs Vout1 and Vout2 are pre-charged to VDD. Since here both the PMOS, this PMOS and also this one, P1 and P2, let me call it as P1 and this one is P2, both these PMOS are connected to the same clocking network or the same clock signal. Since the clock equal to 0, both these two PMOS will be turned on. If it is turned on, what happens? The VDD will travel through this particular path and it will be stored in the output Vout1 for this particular PMOS, and here for the Vout2 also the VDD will travel through the channel of this PMOS and it will store in the capacitor of the Vout2. Therefore, it is written that whenever the pre-charge, during the pre-charge, both these outputs Vout1 and Vout2 will be pre-charged to VDD. It is pre-charged to VDD means the capacitor which is connected to VDD, sorry, the capacitor which is connected to output here at Vout1 and Vout2 will be fully charged. Now, when the phi goes high to begin evaluate, phi goes high means whenever the phi clock equal to 1, if the clocking signal equal to 1, that's logic 1, then the evaluation phase starts. All the inputs at the stage 1 require some finite time to resolve. So now what happens here, if evaluation phase is starting means, then the evaluation phase starts only depending upon the inputs which are given to the logic which is inside this structure or inside this tree. So now you are supposed to evaluate depending upon this logics which is written or which is being drawn inside this particular tree. So now here in this one, all the inputs at the stage 1 require some finite time to resolve, but during this time the charge may erroneously be discharged from Vout. So see now. In the second stage, what is happening here? In the second stage, since the Vout equal to now, in the previous stage of the first one, Vout equal to 1. Since that Vout is connected to this N transistor, this will be turned on. And anyway, in this logic, the gate of this N transistor is given to logic 1. So both these transistors are turned on whenever the evaluation phase starts. Evaluation phase starts, these two transistors are turned on because of the previous stage Vout1 and also the input which is given to the second N transistor. So therefore what happens, there is a chance that since this transistor 1, transistor 2 and the evaluate transistor N transistor, all the three will be in on state, therefore there is a scope for the charge which is stored in the capacitor to discharge to the ground. Before this transistors which are inside this logic, resolve them. Resolve means before they become active. Before the transistors inside this one become active, there's a chance that the capacitance which is stored in the capacitor of the Vout2 to get discharged. That's what is been written here. That's the meaning of this particular two lines. Example, let us take one example. Assume that eventually the first stage NMOS tree conducts and fully discharges Vout1. Now let us assume that first stage all the transistors, N transistors in this particular first logic is on. If it is on means what happens, the charge which is stored in the capacitor of Vout2 will be completely discharged to ground because this one is also on by the virtue of clocking network which is clock equal to 1. The evaluate transistor also will be turned on. Now if it is on, there is a scope that the capacitance which is stored in this one will discharge to the ground. So now that is what written here. But since all the inputs at the entry to the entry are not immediately resolved, it takes some time for the N transistor to finally discharge V out to ground. So it means that here, once if you give the input signal to all this N transistor, all of a sudden all the N transistors will not come into active stage and it will not be turning on. It depends upon the voltage which is given simultaneously. So before all this N transistors come into active stage and discharges the capacitance which is stored in the Vout1 to ground, there is a scope that this transistor turning on first, and that's why even the Vout2 also discharges before the Vout1. If during this time delay, the second stage has an input condition shown with the bottom NMOS transistor gate to the logic. See now, already this is given to logic 1, and this is taking some much amount of time in order to discharge the capacitor. So before that time itself, this transistor will be turned on and the Vout2 will be discharged. So that is actually the erroneous stage. Actually, it has to, you can see the waveform here. Actually, this one has to be like this. Before this one, before discharging of this one, this Vout2 should not discharge. But here what is happening, because of this condition, because all the N transistors in this first stage is not getting activated before this one is activated. So that's why the waveform is written here. The waveform has gone in this down low state. It has to be in the high state. This is a correct waveform. But since because of the delay in the circuit, this is happening. This is called as a race condition. This kind of situations we call it as a race conditions. If during this delay,
excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Once explain again, sir.
Which part?
Sir, why the Vout1 has delay? I mean, first in logic.
Yeah. See now, Vout1, why it has delay? Because if I supply the input, if I supply what is that gate voltage to all the transistors, assume that there is some OR operation. Let me assume the logic which inside this first stage is an OR operation. If it is an OR operation, what happens? What will happen? All the PMOS will be in, all the NMOS will be in parallel situation. It will be in the parallel connection. So now here, if all are in parallel connection, then what happens? Assume that three transistors are in one side and another 3 transistors are in another side in a parallel structure. So now, if a signal has to move from the first N transistor, I'm taking the left ladder of that OR operation, left ladder of OR operation. If the first transistor is turned on, then only the signal which is stored or the charge which is stored in the capacitor of Vout1 will go to the second transistor. If the first N transistor is not turned on, the charge cannot move to the second transistor in the left ladder. It means that the channel has to be turned on. It takes some transistors will take time delay in order to turn on that channel. For this one, I can I'll go back to this previous one. See now. I'm talking about this one. If 3 are connected like in this structure, yeah, assume that there is a capacitor over here and the capacitor is fully charged. If a capacitor is fully charged, until this particular transistor is turned on, the charge cannot move from this transistor to the next transistor. What is actually happening here? A delay has been occurred here. The delay has occurred because there is some time frame for this transistor to turn on. And in the same way, let me assume now this is turned on and this is not turned off. So now, if this is taking some time to turn on the channel, then the charge which is stored here in the capacitor will reach only up to this point, up to the drain of this second transistor, but it cannot come to the drain of the third transistor. So this is how the delay occurs in discharging the capacitance which is stored in the particular N logic. So because of that reason, because of this particular delay, what happens? This one requires only a small amount of gate voltage in order to turn on the N transistor. If that sufficient gate voltage is present in this capacitor, this transistor will be turned on. If it is turned on, and anyway the second transistor is given as logic 1, this both are on, there is a clear path created between the output and ground. So this capacitor, the second capacitor which is connected to Vout2, will discharge first than compared to the capacitor which is connected to Vout1. That is the meaning of this one. Actually, before this one, this capacitor which is connected to Vout1, before it getting discharged, this capacitor should not discharge. It has to be still in the charge position only. But because of the delay which is occurred in the logics of this entry, this will be discharged. That is an error state that has to be taken care about. And this kind of situation, CNO, actually this is the correct stage and this is the erroneous state. If the erroneous state is occurred, we call it as in race conditions. This is all about what is meant by race condition. That is what is written here. If during this time delay, the second stage has an input condition shown with the bottom NMOS is connected to logic 1, and then Vout2 will start to fall. Vout2 will start to fall means the capacitance in the capacitor 2 will try to discharge and discharge its load capacitance until the Vout1 finally evaluates. Until the Vout1 finally evaluates means what? Until this one, until the logic inside this one will get activated. Before this logic inside the first stage get activated, this capacitance or the capacitance in the capacitor 2 will completely discharge, evaluate and turn off the top series NMOS transistor in the second stage. And the result is an error in the output of the second stage. This is an erroneous output. Actually, the output has to be in this way. So this is regarding the problems which occur in the cascading. So we should be very careful that in order to avoid this timing delays, we are supposed to supply some clocking networks. Again, different methods are there how to remove the delays. So let us see now another condition of the cascaded dynamic CMOS logic gate. Evaluate problem here, the same evaluate problem which you have seen in the previous slide. With the simple cascading of dynamic CMOS logic stages, a problem arises in the evaluate cycle. The pre-charged high voltage on the node N2, the pre-charged high voltage logic on the node N2, that is a capacitance which is stored in the capacitor of output node N2, in the stage 2 may be partially discharged by the logic inputs to the second stage, which have not yet reached to the final correct low value from the stage 1 of the evaluate state. Means that here there is a case that before this one, see now what is happening, this capacitance of this first capacitor is supplying some charge to the N logic. Means this one, before this particular logic has been turned on, there is a scope that partial discharging of the capacitor takes place in the second stage and cannot simply cascade dynamic CMOS logic gates without preventing unwanted bleeding. This is called as bleeding networks. Bleeding means leakage. We are talking about the leakage of the current. Leakage of the current or bleeding of the charges from the pre-charge nodes. Well, here see now N1 and N2 are the pre-charge nodes. Why? Because whenever the clock equal to 0, both these nodes N1 and N2 will be pre-charged. That means the capacitor of this N1 and N2 will be fully charged. So in order to overcome this particular problem, there are some techniques which you are supposed to see. The first one is called as a two-phase clock. Second one is called as an using of inverters to create the domino logics. And NP logic is one kind of method. Other one is a NORA logic or the zipper logic. See here, I have talked about the race condition here. There's an error state. In order to overcome this race condition only, we'll be studying about a topic called NORA. NORA is nothing else but it's a short form for the no race. No race is called as a NORA, or else the other name is zipper. So these are the important solutions to eliminate this kind of race conditions. Let us see now those solutions. First one is a two-phase operation of this dynamic CMOS logic. Just now we have seen for this one. If I talk about the summing up of all what is meant by dynamic CMOS logic, dynamic CMOS logic is nothing else but it will be having two-phase operations. First one is called as a pre-charge phase, and second one is called as an evaluate phase. In the pre-charge phase, the clock equal to 0. When clock equal to 0, the PMOS pre-charge MOSFET will be turned on. When and evaluate MOSFET will be turned off. In the evaluate phase, the clock equal to 1. When the clock equal to 1, pre-charge MOSFET will be turned off and evaluate MOSFET will be turned on. and also at this evaluate phase only, this network, pull down network, will be activated. The logic expression will be working in order to produce some output. In the pre-charge phase, the output will be produced. That is the output will be always pre-charged. It means the output will be always equal to logic 1 in the pre-charge phase when the clock equal to 0. But in the evaluate phase, depending upon this logic, you'll be producing that output. Whatever the logic is given here, that output will be obtained in the evaluate phase. Whereas in the pre-charge phase, the output will be always equal to logic 1. So this is one of the operation. It is a for A dot B plus C. It is an A dot B plus C operation. Since both the transistors are in series, we call it an A dot B. And these two transistors are connected parallel to another transistor, that is C. So it is an A dot B plus C operation. So this will be your output for this particular network when you try to evaluate it. You can see this output now here, depending upon the clock which is given. Once if in the pre-charge phase, the clock is on, the P transistor is turned on, and here the N transistor will be turned off. When on the evaluate phase, you can see now in the pre-charge phase, this one is on and this is off. Therefore, the output equal to 1. But when it comes to the evaluate phase, in the evaluate phase, this PMOS is turned off and NMOS is turned on. Therefore, depending upon this logic, you'll be getting an output, or you'll be obtaining an output that is equal to A dot B plus C whole bar. See now conditions on the output. Let us see some conditions on the output here. Once the output of the dynamic gate is discharged, the output of dynamic gate is discharged, it cannot be charged again until the next pre-charge operation takes place. It means that one chance only. You will be having always the capacitor, if it is equal to discharge, then the next phase has to come. That's the pre-charge has to come. Then only the output will be pre-charged again. It means that the output will be fully charged. The capacitor at the output will be fully charged. That is equal to logic 1. Or else, if the pre-charge state is not occurred, then your output will not be, or the capacitor at the output will not be fully charged. It will be always in the discharged state itself. The input to the gates can make at most one transition during the evaluation phase. Input to the gates can make at most one transition. Transition means we are talking about the truth table here. If my logic inside this one, is, it is only this. Assume that it's only A dot B. If it is an A dot B, my transition will be like it is 0 and 0. Only one kind of transition can happen at a time. So that is what is written here. The inputs which are given to the gate can make at most only one transition during the evaluation phase. The output can be in high impedance stage during the evaluation phase. That is pull down network is totally off. The state is stored on the CL. Here high impedance phase is nothing else but your output, the software will be displaying it as a Z. Z has been taken as an high impedance, where you will not be getting any kind of output, but instead it will be like a red line will be shown in the software, which is, it means that it is completely, your logic is not working as per the whatever the expression has been given to you. It is called as a high impedance state, that is a Z. Output can be in the high impedance state during the evaluation phase, provided the pull down network is completely off. When the pull down network is completely off, what happens? If pull down network is completely off, the capacitor will be pre-charged, and the capacitance in that one will be in the same state itself. It will be whatever it is in the previous state. So different from the static CMOS logic, this dynamic CMOS is different from static CMOS logic. That is, output is connected to either VDD or ground through the low resistance path. Here the output is always connected to VDD, or else it is connected to ground through the low resistive path. Because the signal always takes a low resistive path in order to obtain, or in order to provide some output. So now let us see some kind of properties about the dynamic CMOS gates. The logic function is implemented by the pull down network. Here always the Boolean equation or the Boolean expressions is being implemented by the pull down network itself. Only the NMOS logics or the NMOS transistors have been used to implement the logics. And the number of transistors is equal to N plus 2. If you are having some N number of transistors in the logic, then the total number of transistors in the dynamic CMOS logic will be the number of transistors in the Boolean expression plus the evaluate MOSFET and the pre-charge MOSFET. That is n plus 2. And so it's an important objective also. The dynamic CMOS logic will be having only, number of transistors is equal to n plus 2. It will be having n plus 2 number of transistors. But whereas in the CMOS structures, we have seen that it will be having 2n number of transistors. Why? Because in the CMOS, we'll be using the pull down network and also NMOS, that is pull down network and the pull up network. But whereas when we come to the dynamic CMOS logic, we'll be using only the pull down network. We'll not be using the pull up network. Because of that reason, the number of transistors has been reduced to half, almost to the half, except this case. That is one evaluate and one pre-charge MOSFET. The full swing outputs. Full swing output is nothing else but whenever your output is obtained logic 0, that is due to the discharging of the capacitor to ground, or else whenever your output is obtained as VDD, logic 1. That is that kind of outputs we call it as full swing outputs. And next one, non-ratioed. Non-ratioed means the sizing of the device does not affect the logic levels here. Ratioed is nothing else but we are talking about the W/L ratio. We are talking about the width and length of the transistor. Here, even if the width and length is not as per the technology also, it will not much affect the operation of that particular circuit or particular operation. That's a major advantage of this dynamic CMOS logic. And next one, it has a faster switching speeds. The switching speed is very fast. Why? Because the reduced load capacitance due to the reduced logical effect. Here the load capacitance is not much there. Why? Because we don't have the pull-up network. We are only dealing with the pull-down networks here. The number of transistors are less. So therefore the load capacitance also will be reduced. And also the load capacitance is reduced due to the smaller internal capacitances. The smaller internal capacitance also will be very small in case of dynamic CMOS logic. And also no short circuit takes place here. Short circuit, when you talk about the short circuit is nothing else but when the complete pull down network and pull up network is totally on. It means if it is a direct path between the VDD and the ground, we call that kind of situation as a short circuit. But here in the dynamic CMOS logic, we cannot expect both the PMOS and all the NMOS to be turned on. It will be like either the PMOS is turned on at one case and or else it will be like NMOS is turned on in the other case. But we don't expect both PMOS and NMOS to be turned on. If both the PMOS and NMOS are turned on, then we call it as a path created between the VDD and ground, and that kind of situation we call it as a short circuit situation. But here in this case, we don't have any kind of short circuit situation. So these are the few properties about what is meant by dynamic CMOS logic gates. Let us see this a few more properties like power dissipation. When you talk about the power dissipations here, no static current path ever exists between the VDD and ground, including this short circuit PMOS. That is nothing else but we don't have any kind of static power dissipation between the PMOS and NMOS. The same reason again, it is like PMOS and NMOS will not be turned on at the same time. And again, glitches will not be formed. It will be like always, it will be rail to rail outputs will be formed. Either it will be logic 1 or logic 0. It will not be in between that VDD and low voltage. And the other important properties like transition probabilities, higher transition probabilities, and extra loading on the clock, and overall power dissipation usually higher than the static CMOS operations. Here, why is the overall power dissipation is more? Because of the reason the clocking network, it is always switching from 0 to 1. Because your entire operation is switching from 0 to 1, and the operation of this dynamic CMOS logic, it depends upon the clock. Because of that particular reason, even in between the phase of 0 to 1, even in between the phase of 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, between this transition also the power will be consumed by the circuit. The circuit will be in the on stage. Because of that one, whenever the circuit is not even working, even that stage also it is consuming the power. Because of that reason, the power dissipation will be more in this dynamic CMOS logic circuits. And now, pull down network. Pull down network starts to work as soon as the input signals exceed the VTH. We know we have studied this basics. Any transistor will be turning on whenever the gate voltage which is supplied to the transistor is more than the VTH. So now here, this transistor's voltage should be always equal to the that is the threshold voltage of the N transistor. Minimum it should be equal to the threshold voltage, because without lesser than that value, your transistor will not be turned on. And the other one is that it will be having the low noise margins. It will be having the low noise. This particular dynamic circuits will be having a low noise compared to the static. It needs a pre-charge and the evaluate clock. This particular dynamic CMOS logic, we know that it requires a pre-charge and the evaluate clocks in order to operate the circuit.